I would take him just in that one aspect alone. He's advanced.
Parents love the development days.
They do.
Like type.
Yeah.
I mean, they were fun years.
They're still fun years, and you know what? It's the parents that make it fun. The parents aren't out there with any expectations. They're out there. They want to see their little Johnny play his game, have his juice and pop after the game, go home, and then he plays his Nintendo, whatever he has to play, out with his friends. Come back and they do bring them out to their practices, and the kids learn. And but the main aspect, it's fun. It's fun, and you can't take that enjoyment away. And we were talking earlier about when we were talking when Derek was here about referees, eh? And again, at the younger age levels, you get the newer referees, eh? And these kids are fantastic because they'll come in, and I've seen where, that offside was like from the red line, and he didn't call it. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game and I said, geez, I hope they cleared his own, so he's forgiven for that offside, right?
Score.
Yeah, nobody scored. And I remember this one game, the other team did score, right? And not one complaint from the referee, not one complaint from the coaches. Not one coach, like the coach of the team that got scored, not one guy come up to me after and said that, like you would have heard maybe 30 years ago, or that was a AAA game, obviously, right? And I did go up to the coach after, and I did compliment him for his conduct. And I said that was class, and it was.
Yeah.
How many times if it's a different level game, it depends on the intensity of the game. Okay.
I guess that gets back to the volunteer recruitment and retention. Like, I just don't think we give enough sincere recognition to the volunteers, to the coaches. Like at the end of the year, everybody pats them on the back and says, good job. But I think we have to be a little more deliberate in expressing appreciation during the season, on kind of spontaneous opportunities.
You know what, I kind of think that's wrong, because I think they do, when I coached, your thank you actually comes from the kids. Yeah. That when you see a boy that's on your team and he started at this level and now you've helped him develop up to this level, there's so much self-satisfaction in that, and I believe the best thank you can ever get is a little boy that you coach as an 8-year-old, and now he's a 30-year-old, and he comes up and says, hey Bob,
yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah.
You left him a memory,
Oh, totally agree. But I think what happens is that there are too many volunteers in positions that after a while they just get the feeling that nobody appreciates what they're doing. That there's a lot of complaining. Not necessarily just in hockey, but even coaching. Just a simple thing. Hey, that was a class act. Simple comment. Huge. I just know as a teacher, a parent comes by and it doesn't have to be a parent-teacher interview or anything like that. Just saying, hey, Jim really likes what you do. It's all you need once in a while. Just a little.
But you know what? Every month we have when we have our monthly meeting in the Valley, and I will never knock any minor hockey board, but I think we have the best board, and I hope everybody in their board says they have the best board. And every month, we very seldom get any parents come out to our meetings, which I think that's a positive, because sometimes that means you're doing something right. But you know what? We have a very good, from Bob Belrose right down to whoever's, and there's no blast or anything. What amazes me is our convenorship. Okay, all our conveners. Every month we all put in our reports, and we always appraise. And at the end of the year, there's not one convener since I've been there that has never. And these go into the minutes, and you put them on the computer. But it's not about that either. But every for the last 5-6 years, at the end of the year, all we talk is how highly of our job our coaches have done in the given year. Very seldom is there a negative, and that's to the quality of coaching we have out there.
Yeah, that's good.
And we always, we do appraise them, and yourself as I don't think any coaches, and I really believe they get thanked more than parents will always come up and it might not be the exact words thank you, but you can see it in how they treat you, how they talk to you. They can see, and basically you see it through your son's eyes.
And they'll stay. You won't have trouble keeping volunteers.
One thing I used to, when my kids played hockey, the one question I asked them every year, I said, I'd always say, do you like hockey? That was important to me. And he'd say, I said, do you like your coach? Because that was important to me too. And he always said yes, eh? And I remember one time I asked my youngest son, he's now 31, but I said, what do you like about your coach? Because I never did get it. I didn't want to do that. So I said, I'll try once. And he says, he treats me good. And that was enough. And to me, it wasn't about if that team had lost every game all year, and because this guy was a very good coach and he treated the kids good, and sometimes teams are better than others. And if that team had lost every game, that was all that mattered to me, and I think that's what should matter to everybody up there.
So why do we have so many people who think that the game of hockey's got a lot of black marks?
It's a minority.
Is it just a perception, or?
It is. There's, you know, at that summit meeting, there's, what's his name there, Scott, he said, there's nothing wrong with our game. We don't have to improve it, but we can make it better. We can still make it better. You never be satisfied.
You don't have to rebuild it, you just have to.
Yeah, just tweak it a bit. And the thing about the volunteers, like, that was amazing, because, you know, now you start talking because we were all sitting at different tables. We didn't sit with our group of Valley East. I was sitting at a table with somebody from Innamoy, somebody from the Women's Hockey Association, somebody from Hearst, and we talk, and you get different perceptions of how they do things up there, and we grasp ideas from everybody. And that was the beauty of this summit, and I'm sure every organization walked away with going back to their association with some ideas on how to improve.
Yeah. That's why I think it was a good time.
Yeah.
Just before the season.
Yeah.
The AGM is probably right at the end of the season.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I thought maybe that would be better. But then when I asked, I think I was told, you know, when I asked a few people who were on the NOJ board, they said we might not have got the same representation as here. And it's true, there was 160 people there in the middle of August, beginning of August in weather, at 9 to 9 on Saturday, and not one complaint. I mean, if I ever went to a sales meeting back then and we had to sit for a meeting from 9 to 9, I don't think anybody in the company would be happy.
You know, and I didn't see anybody there who felt that they were better than anybody else.
No.
Like even the professional
That's true, eh?
Just like one of the guys.
But again, when I used to go to sales meetings, so you'd have your managers from head office, you'd have your maybe guys from wherever, right? Well, everybody was, sometimes guys would walk in pins and needles. Here, it's true, everybody was on a level.
I feel comfortable criticizing the penalty kill.
No, that's true.
But that comfort level is there. Obviously, it's in Valley East with the board as well, because you've got to have that.
I really believe that's in every association. There is a comfort level. I don't see. I cannot for the life of me see any association going out there and dictating to their volunteers that you have to do this or you have to do that. You would not have an association after a while. I think the comfort level in organized minor sports, whether it be soccer, ringette, any sport at all, that there is a comfort level that if you don't have that comfort level, how are you going to attract a young kid or a parent to bring your child up to even try the game?
What did you think of the suggestion about making sure the volunteers knew what you expected of them? Giving them something.
I think that's a great idea. If you are getting a new volunteer and they're not really sure, you give them something. If you can do that, you know yourself, Bob. And as a school teacher, how many times have you had to organize something, and you always get one little thing that you just don't want to do it. It's just a little stickler, and if somebody comes up to you and says, "I'll take care of it," your mind's at ease. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, those little things, like I'll give you an example. Last year at the Renegades tournament, I was talking earlier about helping that. You know, we always have volunteers. So we just had 3 hours in this one rink, and it was just a pain to get somebody to move from. They're always stationed at this rink all, and to make 2 or 3 moves. I'd asked a couple of people that I know very well, would you mind going out and covering off? These 3 hours are like 20 hours to me, because I was going to go out there and do them. Because I was going to ask them if they could stay where I was, and then I would go out there, and they said, "Jim, no problem." Well, you know what? That 3 hours to me was like 40 that they saved me. That's what I'm saying. So if you give somebody a new volunteer a job to do, and you say this is what we like. Now, if they screw it all up, don't ever criticize them. You can show them how to how to correct it, and then, you know.
Great. Anything new coming up at Bell East that you're, like, anything remarkably different?
No, I know this year, talking to, well, you know, like I said, we have a very close-knit family there, and we're really looking forward to our tournaments this year, because they've been growing every year, and we're looking forward to our December tournament with the Pee-wees, Bantams, and Midgets, because now there's no body checking, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And we really believe that that's going to be, and what I said before, I was always in favor of either body checking or no body checking, okay? And it's very tough when you do a tournament, so many divisions you have to open up, but now and you would never ever get it back to just body checking. You could not ask kids to come out and force them to body check, so you knew it was going to go one way or the other. And to that end, I think that's going to have a really great impact on a lot of tournaments now, where it's going to open up the older, the midgets and the bantams. They're going to see teams that they haven't seen in 5 or 6 years, 7 years.
Do you think maybe the players will now be able to shake hands after the game?
You bring out a good point, and you know, I go out to all these games, and to me, I remember when they brought that in, and the reason they brought it in, and I go out there and I look at a game, and people say, how come they shake at the beginning of the game, and I never even notice. To me, it's as long as they shake, right? And you're absolutely right. I think they should be shaking at the end of the game. I think it's more important that they.
How else do you teach them good sportsmanship at the end of the game?
I think they should be taking off their gloves when they shake, but you know, that's. But you know, I do believe it should be at the end of the game. But more important, they should shake. They should shake. So.
Lots of interesting points. We will have a number of special shows during the year where we bring in other members of the board, maybe other coaches, and maybe we'll get some opportunity to work with some of the players and get their perspectives on the sport. Because I think if anything came out of the NOHA summit, that yes, there are things that can be improved. But like you say, the game doesn't have to be rebuilt. It just has to be tweaked. And I think in most sports that's probably the case.
Yep.
It's just a matter of, you know, let's address the issues that we can address and find the best way of dealing with it, and let's not overemphasize the.
Something down your alley too, Bob. I was looking at some of the things that you did as a coach back in your day, and you know, we learned from each other, right?
Why?
And you know, I thought if I ever went back into coaching, I would be picking 3 goalies, you know, and we could get more goalies into the game by changing them on the fly, because I always remember that. So, what do you think about the 3 goalie system?
Well, yeah,
changing, you know,
goaltender development. Goaltender development. It's. I used to always try to have someone who had goaltender experience working with me, because I knew nothing about goaltenders. Just put on the pads and let it shoot at you. You know, and yet it's the most critical position on the team.
It's the most important position.
And yet, how many coaches are actually goalies? Because there's so few goalies.
You know what? I bet you nothing has changed. The average coach in the dressing room does not address his goalie at all. I never did. What do I say to him? Like, all I can do is build confidence, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell him how to play the game.
Good spot, good start.
Yeah, what do I do? I can tell a forward, you got to back check, or you got to tell the defenseman to pinch, or you do this. What do you tell a goalie?
Mm-hmm.
Have a great game.
Yeah.
He's never part of your speech. You never give him heck either.
Yeah.
But he's the most important guy in that team, because he sees 5 mistakes before he makes one.
Yeah, goaltender development.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. Thanks, Jim, for
thank you.
coming. Jim McLoughlin, board of director member with the Valley East Minor Hockey Association, and convener of the. Is it just the Novice or Tight End?
No, just Novice.
Just Novice.
Novice is lots.
Convener of the Novice division. This is Bob Kirwan, the host of the Learning Clinic, saying thank you for being with us, and make sure you come back next week when we have Derek Erickson back with possibly a member of the NOHA to talk about the NOHA summit we just held this past weekend.